before we go into that, I wanted to say a little bit about myself. You can trust me, I'm a doctor. I got my PhD from the School of Sport and Exercise Sciences at the University of Birmingham, which is the best in the UK for sports science research. And during my time there, I learned a lot about data and how to work with data, and basically I like expertise, and so I've carried this over into this business now. And so any training that I have, I make sure it's with experts and learning from them and applying the techniques. And because it's such a fast-changing environment, we have to keep testing ideas and changing with it. I got into SEO and social media because I had a karate business and I needed my website getting found, so I started blogging, expanding the reach of ways that people could find me, getting good at getting found on Google Places, which is the little map entries, and I knew I was getting somewhere when someone phoned me up and said, "Oh, you keep popping up everywhere." And as a result, even today, from that martial arts business, even though it's been dead for a good year or so, I still get phone calls. If you search for Kids Karate Birmingham, if you pop that into YouTube, you will find this. You will find out the top 7, I've got 6 videos on there that I've used for my club. And that translates into a Google search, as even today I've still got 2 videos there on that front page. So it's still being found all over the place, still popping up all over the place. So we're all about making businesses visible online. We like to start with keywords. So here's your website here, and we get the right keywords for your website, for your business. Now this is important because it expands the reach that you have, the ways you can get found online. If you write content around those keywords, get found in Google, it expands. It's beyond the obvious. Now this can go horribly wrong. A classic example that Americans use is the guy from California who optimised his website for rhinoplasty when everybody was in fact searching for nose jobs, so no one found his website. As I say, it does involve blogging, so we can write content, get found in the search engines, but also the keywords are useful for using in your social media profiles. So what we try to do is dominate that page, particularly when people are searching for your business. If your profiles pop up, so out of those 10 results, you're filling those up with you, it means that your competition isn't sneaking in on the act at all. And social media is a great platform to get your stuff out there. So once you make a blog post, we send it out onto these social media platforms and to qualified people who are interested in what you do. And the idea in the end is to turn those fans into clients. So this is a quote that Vicky Kelly put up on Facebook, and it's something that's well known, but it takes several touches, several times of contact with potential clients before they actually become a client. But Infusionsoft say that most people give up before they have sufficient contacts with people. So to influence people at these times, we've got to understand how consumers behave online. Now we use a model that Google use called See, Think, Act, Tell. The C phase is when people get the idea that they want your product, they want your service, and that can come from wherever they see it. Then they think about it, they research, they go online and have a little look, and so this is when we can start touching it, having contact with these people through blog posts or whatever. People jump into Google, have a little look, do their research, and this is when you can start influencing them. If they get onto your site, we can retarget ads to them. So then when they go onto another site, there's your advert there, and they're being stalked in a nice way to help them, of course. So, have I gone backwards? Oh yes, sorry. Done too much. So once they've done the research, they act on that, and then they buy, and everyone's happy. But of course, once they buy, then they start talking about it. People like to talk about what they've bought, and online, that can be anywhere. Now, whether they've had a good or bad experience, it can be useful for us because we can turn their bad experience into our advantage by showing off our customer service. So we always try and encourage people to talk about it. Now, if they can actually go as far as writing a blog post about their experience, that is Christmas, because it means that later on that will go up, and so the next round of people that are in the research phase, they get touched by all this new reviews and new content online, and that can help persuade them to purchase. So, to rationalise all of this, we want to join up all the dots of all the online stuff and join up the touches. So what we try and do is we've got two goals. We either get them to talk to you through calling or email or a contact form on the website, or enable you to talk to them by capturing their email address. Now, usually that will involve some kind of incentive to give up their email to you, but once they do, you can then hit them with a stream of newsletters and loads of valuable information, tell them about offers that you may have, whatever, keep them in the loop, and then hopefully they can then contact you at some point. You can do a similar thing with blog posts as well, provide loads of valuable information, solve problems, just get your message out there, and then direct them on the website to where a harder sell page, or get them to actually call you up. But the trouble with this is that at this stage you're reliant on them finding you, so to help them in that regard, we push that content out onto social media platforms to people who are actually interested in what we do, and then they go back to the website for more information, and then can get directed down to here. So then over this may take several lots of content, several problems that you're solving for them. They find out this information, and over time they get to know you, like you, trust you, and then hopefully eventually contact you. So you don't actually have to do all of this stuff. We had a client come to us who wanted us to increase their social media exposure. Her website wasn't working for her and she wanted to get found online, so we start off here at the bottom there, and on her page she had 44 likes. We ran a competition, a paid competition with adverts, and over the course of a month they went to 1,600 likes on that page, and then it flatlines over a couple of months. We set the second competition over a couple of weeks, and that built them up to 2,700 likes. Loads and loads of engagement on there, people talking about the competition and everything, and it was all very good. But the most important thing was that during this, to enter the competition, it was just a sweepstake. You had to give up your email address, and she ended up with 1,500 email addresses at the cost of about 50 pence each, that she was then able to market to in her leisure. Because of course they were all interested in what she was doing, which is Spanish boots. Now, are we any good with websites? Here we've got two clients. The first one is local. You want to be found for the NEC, stand designer, and the other one here is a big company that sells furnaces and forges equipment all over the world. Both of these, through effective keyword research, we were able to get them found online in Google, and they made money from it. So how can you help Lollipop Local? Well, what we're after is businesses that are prepared to invest the money to get found online, but also to add their passion. So everyone around this table here, everyone in the BNI is passionate about what they do, love to bring value to the customers. Now we need to get this part. It's not just about strapping on some SEO to your website, it's about getting across this passion. And so it's businesses that want to be visible, that want more customers, and know the value of these 6 to 10 touches at the time to help persuade people to buy. And it's not necessarily sell, it's just showing competence, expertise, getting them to trust you. But more specifically, because I know we've got to try and be specific, is keywords research works well with what I call jargon professions. So solicitors, it's packed with jargon. When people search online for answers to what is that jargon, whatever it is. Now, if you provide answers to that in plain English, that helps people understand, that helps build your expertise and get people to know and trust you. In addition, local businesses that are struggling with their Google Places, their map listings, and then the scared or confused. We run several workshops, and we're going to expand that a little bit as well to help people further. And if you're dipping your toe for the first time, or you just want to improve and get better, they're packed with information. And then later on, we can have one-to-one consultancy, so you can apply it directly to your own business. And that's about that. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to Thanks.
Any questions for John, please?
Yeah.
Every day I get millions of emails from people telling me about SEO. Why are you different to any of those?
Well, the people that send you those, they are prospecting, aren't they, for your business, and they're not necessarily the best experts. And what you can probably end up with, if you get it wrong, and they use techniques that are not the best, they may get a short-term advantage, but it will end to a long-term catastrophe. Because if they go out there and buy a lot of links in your behalf and they send them to your website, that may work straight away. But later on, Google will change things, and because Google doesn't like that kind of thing, and they'll penalise your website and you won't get found at all. And that's not a good thing. When we do any link building, we do it in what Google calls a natural way. But by definition, really, it's still link building. But for guest blogging, that kind of thing. So we will write posts on other people's websites, which then link back to our services. Yes, Ray?
Just a testimonial for John, really. My website hadn't been found for the best part of 4.5, 5 years. I met Joe and John, and John did some keyword research for me. We sat down on the phone and went through all the things, and he provided a report of all the words that would matter to me. And within less than 2 weeks in my case, wasn't it?
I don't know, it was quite quick. Yeah.
Less than 2 weeks, we were #1 on Google. So thanks for that, John.
Yeah, with the keyword research, it can be quick, because if your competition isn't doing it, isn't using those, optimising for anything other than the obvious ones, you're providing something that no one else is, and so that gives you a head start on everybody else. Kevin?
John, just a quick question. It's a simple question, a simple person I know. Can you explain very briefly how to construct a blog?
Yeah, you know, blogging, it's about imagination. So if you, so for example, a great one is the testimonials here. So if you provide a testimonial for someone, or someone gives you a testimonial, you get an electronic copy of that. You could put that up, little snippets, sections of that testimonial if it's a bit long. Put that up there, give a little bit of an introduction into the case study itself. There's your client's testimonial. You can add a little bit of direction to your premises. You can add some photos, maybe a little video on there, and then you construct something that's a bit more interesting, just like 2 or 3 lines from a testimonial. And then if you've got keywords that relate to that, so that's the search terms that people use in Google, you can then optimise it for that and get found for that search term. And so it should be quite easy to construct these blog posts. I mean, for instance, a great one was Dave Anderson last week. I asked Dave if the windscreen was fogging up and what could it be. I said, is there an issue with our air conditioning? And he said, what you need to do is make sure you put the air conditioning on as well as the heaters in the winter, and most people don't even know that. Now, I've gone and done that, and it's cured it completely. So Dave could write a whole little story all about that, provide information for people for free, as he did for me, and he'd save me whatever it would cost to, well, not go to him because he said he'd have a look for nothing, but, you know, to wherever.
Any more questions? Last question, please. All good? Thank you very much indeed, John.